gentlemen, welcome to Kingdom of Kodiak. I'm Kodiak. With me today, Friar Carlos. Friar Carlos, how you doing?
Good. Thanks,
Good. It's
man.
nice.
Thanks for having me on.
Oh, for sure. For anyone who's wondering why we're 5 minutes late, apparently it wasn't letting me post to the Kingdom page, so I had to post to my personal page first and share it to the Kingdom. We'll figure that out hopefully before the next episode. So, Friar Carlos, let's not waste any more time. Let's get to the bare necessities. Sorry, Sin. How long have you been playing Amtgard?
I think I started in fall of 2016, so about 5 years, more or less.
All right. And where does your persona come from?
Right when I started playing Amtgard, I was reading a book, Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett.
Okay.
So the book takes place in England in the 10th century, and there's a lot of monks and monasteries involved throughout the novel. And so I was just kind of picked that up as a character kind of thing.
Okay. So there was some questions about your name that had been asked by the viewers, but the one specifically that we should get out of the way is, has it impacted your Amtgard experience going straight into the game as Friar Carlos?
Yeah, I guess so. Like I've pretty much stuck to monk as a class, almost exclusively. Now I've branched off into healer, and like trying to stick within that framework of like what a friar or monk-like character might be.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong, I like might branch out from that, but yeah, I've been kind of doing that and then just trying to be monk-like, so to speak, at park, like talk to people and be kind of zen and or whatever I think might fit that character.
Yeah. Well, you're super chill, so yeah, that it makes absolute sense. Or you're just like relaxed. Yeah. All right. So, what award or achievement would you say you're most proud of receiving?
I don't know. I got a couple Smiths for doing some like beer making workshops. Those are pretty cool. I got a lion recently for doing some food fight stuff, and that was I felt good about that. It was nice to get some recognition for doing that kind of thing. So I guess those kind of awards, the ones that I probably was proud of.
Yeah. Okay. We may have a tech issue. It's saying that content not available on the Kingdom page, but I have people viewing, so they might be viewing from my personal page. So if you're viewing from my personal page, just let me know. I'll check. But we may have some issues today. Let's see. No, we're fine. We're good. We'll figure it out. We'll do it, and we'll fix it in post. Even if it's not a live episode, it'll go live somewhere. All right. Sorry. Friar Carlos, what is your favorite battle game to play and why?
Man, I really like Class Ring the Bell. Just simple. You can have varying skills levels of players, and the whole point is just trying to score a point, more or less. And I really like those kind of battle games where you just score the point and then there's a reset and it's like a best of 3 or best of 5 or however you want to do it.
For sure.
And I really like it when it's a big open field where you can just run around and try and ring that bell any way you can. So it makes it a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's awesome. We just went to Burning Land's End Rain, and after their tournament and before their court, they had a battle game of Ring the Bell, but they did it on a BMX field. So there's the BMX hills and stuff. Oh, it was sick. So much fun. Super fun. So when you're playing Ring the Bell, your favorite class battle game, you've already kind of mentioned that you've been sticking with Monk. Is that still your favorite class?
Oh yeah, especially for Ring the Bell. One of the things I like about Monk is you can kind of move around the field at ease. No one can hit you with verbals and stop you. if someone shoots you with like a ranged weapon, you have the ability to block it, or a spell ball, you can shut it down. So you can pretty much you can go all offense and just harass whoever's trying to defend the bell. And like sometimes you don't even need to score, you just need to keep other people occupied.
Yeah, just keep other people from not scoring.
Right. Or if you get in trouble, you can, pop into sanctuary and then just like hang out until the situation is cooled a little bit, zen out a little, and then you hop back in. So, yeah.
Well, and then of course, Deverick would like to know, what's your favorite weapon set to play with?
Usually go with flow. When I'm playing monk, and then a dagger and 2 heavy throws. It's usually what I roll with.
2 heavy throw. Okay. Have I played you with 2 heavy throws before?
So I started like when I moved from Dragon's Brine Las Cruces to Obsidian Gate. There's a wizard that played here. He hasn't come back since COVID started, but his name was Zathran. Okay. Called him Z. But he had like 10 heat weapons at all the time, and it really like kind of like threw me off my game initially, because I just would roll around with this 2 flow, 2 shorts, and then like he would just heat weapon one of them, and then like there was always a couple people by him, so it was like, okay, well, like the odds are not my favor, so heat weapon, you have to run around, wait for that weapon to get unheated. And it was just really a pain. So in response to that, I threw a dagger on the belt and like add another heavy throw. So I just like, if that happens, I got some more firepower, I'm not just shut down.
It's one of the things we're still preaching in Crucis to our newer players, or our players like Zachary, who it still struggles carrying a sword on the field. At least take a dagger at a bare minimum, like always have a dagger. All right. Well, go ahead.
Even playing healer now, it's like, you get that dagger for free. And so if you want to just do 1 short sword, that's not a bad combo if you're going to just be spell heavy.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, those are the bare necessities. Sorry, Sin. Let's get to the questions KOK viewers have been asking since episode 1. Sir Glenolf should have received a toaster from Sir Elicard, from me, from Calthrax. Should Sir Glenolf receive a soda maker?
No. Soda is bad for you.
Okay. All right.
You should receive something healthier, like a water purifier.
Right. Well, we'll have to maybe adjust the question then. Stillhat would like to know, who's the best bear?
Best bear. Probably Winnie the Pooh. That's an underrated bear. People forget he's a bear. He's a Pooh bear.
Well, again, that is none of the bears of Dragonspine, so no points will be awarded this week.
Oh, those bears. Oh, yeah. No comment. I'm gonna just keep it vague.
Okay, fair enough. Well, Freya would like to know, why are bears so overrated?
I don't think they're overrated. I think they're maybe underappreciated. They can do a lot of amazing things. Like black bears are some of the smartest mammals on North America.
Ooh, say
like
that.
They're everywhere.
Yeah.
They're like. So I lived in this town in Colorado, Trinidad, and like we lived kind of close to the foothills. And like in the evening, these bears would come in and descend from the foothills. And like there's this alley behind our house, and they would get into the trash can. It was kind of sad that they were in the trash can. But man, like this bear would just get in there silent as an assassin, man, and just pull out this like big bag of trash, set it down, go in and get another one, set it down, close the lid, and then just like take those trash bags into the front yard and eat. And all this happened like at 9:00 at night without anybody knowing.
Yeah, for sure.
Is pretty impressive. So like bears, they do amazing things like that. Like that's kind of sad that bear is eating out of the trash, but like in the wild, they do amazing bear things, climbing trees, eating honey.
Freya,
No.
so Freya, they're doing everything, and also Friar Carlos is willing to commit to bears being like assassins. So, overrated? No, that's just not true. So, Friar Carlos, Dragonspine has the opportunity, if you can come up with the way to fund it, to get a mobile pool and/or jacuzzi. How do you feel about that?
I think mobile jacuzzi. Like long day fighting, the shoulder might be sore, ankles might be sore. Just like everyone gets a little soak.
Yeah.
You can rotate in and out, because you get hot, you got to dry off.
Yeah.
Sounds perfect. I don't know how you're gonna fund it, but you get it.
Oh, well, that's the other part of the question, of course, is how would you fund it?
Sell beer.
Sell
something. Sell we got a lot of crafters and whatnot in the kingdom, so I'm sure that if they all wanted to put together one or two items, that marquee items that they make, I bet you'd be surprised how much funding you can get from some of those if we all just pitched in like that.
That's true. And Freya wanted to point out that we got the merch store for DS right now, and there's some KOK merch on there. So if everyone went and bought a piece of KOK merch, the kingdom might have enough money to afford a jacuzzi or pool. Who needs to pay AIBOD so that we have a voting voice at COM? No one. Come on, we'll just get a pool.
I was thinking about getting a new hoodie. Maybe I'll check out that site. Get a Dragonspine hoodie or like an Obsidian Gate hoodie.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's the additionally hoodie. I'm just saying KOK merch is whatever.
I'll get a sticker in my order, Cody. I'll put it on my water bottle. I'll think of you.
Oh, bud, this is why I love you. You're fantastic. All right. Those were the questions KOK viewers have been asking since episode 1. Let's get to your questions. Friar Carlos, we're going to start with a question from Stillhat. What is your weirdest flex?
Like an amp guard flex?
Any flex.
I've had 3 haircuts in the last 9 years. Yeah. I'm working on it again. So I'll donate it, right? Mm-hmm. Once it gets really long. So it takes a couple years. I'm getting a little gray here. So
I feel you.
My donation days are numbered. You should join me, man. Your hair is about the same length.
I don't want to get the horse in front of the cart here, but Xander shaved his head for his knighting.
I saw that. Yeah, he looks completely different.
So if Friar Carlos wanted to shave his head with me,
we'll wait one more year and just let it really long.
Yeah.
Then you put it in a ponytail. It's and then we'll shave it.
Okay.
We're talking all the way to the skin.
Well, I mean, I've got some people that would probably be a little upset if I went down to the skin. Maybe just a little bit longer than what I have on the sides, but
no, I think okay, I'm on board with this.
Okay,
I could do that.
All right, we'll do some buzz cuts. It'll be fine. You have a shout out in the what is that called? That's called the chat. So Randall loves this Friar. Loves this Friar.
Thanks, Randall.
And also the chat seems to be working. So the comments section seems to be working. So maybe there was just an issue on the other end, minus my big issue here. Anyways, Friar Carlos, are you a torchbearer of any particular skill?
I don't know, man. I don't know how to answer that. Torchbearer.
I mean, we keep it on here because it's a bear pun, but
oh, right.
Yeah, well,
right. We'll circle back to that one.
I'll circle back. Yeah, well, I mean, we're going to get into your skill. You're not willing to point out right now, but we're going to get to it here in a minute. Lightning would like to know, what's your favorite garb that you own?
Oh, I bought this monk robe thing that like I shouldn't be the picture of. I got it on Etsy, like found somebody that made that kind of stuff.
Right.
And like for the longest time I was gonna make something like that. I think the first time I met you actually was at Annabelle's house, and
Yep.
so I still have that. That's like a sheet. So have you seen the Simpsons episode where like Bart and Lisa get adopted by the Flanders?
Yeah.
And like Lisa's at school and she's got like lice in her hair and they put like a bag that she just kind of wears. That's kind of what it looks like. So I digress. Like my garbing skills are not that good. So I like one day I were at park, right? And I think Arkin was talking to Anya about something. And he was just like, man, I'm not a garber. I just buy my garb. And I was like, you know what? I think Arkin's right. I'm just gonna buy my own garb and like not worry about it because I want to look the part. Look what I'm going for with my persona and whatnot. So I just pulled the trigger.
Nice.
That's probably my favorite thus far.
It's got a great story to it, and it tells the origin story of Friar Carlos meeting Kodiak. So like all these things are happening.
Oh yeah.
So, Melanie Songtailor would like to know, what is your favorite crafting skill?
What I enjoy the most is brewing, making beer and mead, and also making pottery. Those are my two favorite skill or crafts, I guess you could say.
I remember reaching out to you when I was trying to do some clay stuff. And I was like, hey, do you have any more? Like, what do I have to do? That project, by the way, was a failure. Big F's in the chat.
Let's I love talking about clay. So like, what's your clay problem? Why was it a failure?
So I applied the clay and I let it dry. And when I woke up the next morning, it was cracked and broken everywhere. So I re-wetted the spots that cracked and then, put a fresh layer of clay on and got it all wet again so I could smooth it out. And it was working out fine. And then when I went to work and came back, it had dried, cracked, and broke.
So I think you need to just like, what is this thing? Is it a pot?
No. I was attempting to make a mimic out of popsicle sticks and clay as a gift to Sir Francis. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I think you should smash up all that clay and wet it down and like, work it into a ball again and just start over.
Oh yeah.
But when you let it dry, like you can put it in like plastic bags over it, like you get at like Walmart, like little grocery bag, and just let it dry real slow.
Okay.
Otherwise, you're gonna get those cracks again. And if you do get those cracks again, you can save a little bit of clay and like where those cracks appear, rather than like re-wetting the whole thing. Just like work that piece of clay into those cracks, and sometimes that'll work.
Okay. All right. Maybe someday that'll be
if you need more clay, I've got like a shed full of this clay that I keep dragging around. So like,
I know that's why I reached out to you the first time, and you were like, "Oh, I'm actually a little low right now," and I was like, "Oh, all
well,
right."
Now it's like things gotten out of control. Like some of us have clay problems, and so like we need to figure that shit out. So I can help you.
Okay, for sure. I love it. We were talking off camera. I've got to make my trip over to Tucson, in OG and Glassforge Highland anyways to finish my Dragon Rider. So,
I can bring some play. There you go.
All right, sounds good. So we talked about your favorite crafting skill, but let's talk about your favorite project that you've ever done.
I guess I've made a few good meads that I've like pretty fun, like prickly pear hibiscus mead that was pretty tasty. Made some pots that I thought were cool. I don't know. I guess it's hard narrowing one down. Like I don't feel like I have like a masterpiece quite yet, but just fun things that I enjoyed, you know.
Yeah. I think that speaks to the one that we haven't mentioned, which is your persona. Like you are the guy that brings the wooden silverware and plate to feast, and you embody the Zen spirit of a monk, and you're very giving and very supportive, and like you have made this persona so much you that people kind of miss the dragon part of like Friar Carlos, you know? It's super
Yeah, I never
good.
thought about it like that.
Well, I'm here. I'm just a deep thinker, you know?
I need to talk to you more. Deep thinking.
All right. Well, Xander would like to point out it's a compliment and also a question, but why are your meads so good?
Um, I think it's just practice, and then also talking to other mead makers. I'm sure you know this guy. He had like red beard, black glasses. Met
Cato?
him at Gathering of the Crowns a few years ago.
Cato?
Cato. He runs the pop-up tavern.
Yep.
Yeah. So like last time I went to that event, he was there, and we were talking about mead, and like we went on a little stroll, and I brought a bottle of mead that I'd made that was like 3 months old.
Mm-hmm.
And Cato tried it, and he gave me, like, one of his friends was there, and he was like, to be honest, this tastes like yeasty water. And like, it's one of those comments that, you know, sticks with you, like, not as a negative thing, but and then he went on to expand that, like, I usually let my meads go like longer, you know. So he said like 6 months, I think.
Wow.
And so like, I've really taken that to heart. And like, I think the time part is like probably what makes them better, because they do get better with time. So like, I think I was talking to you off camera, right? How like I'll make a mead, right? And I'll let it sit in the primary fermenter for like a month or two. And then I'll transfer it to another one for a month or two. And then I'll transfer it to a bottle for like a few months. And then that's the first time I'll actually drink it, you know, like 6 months after the first day I made it.
Right.
And sometimes if you let it go longer, it gets better. But it's really hard to be patient, because like the one I gave you that you tried, and the one that Xander tried and you're talking about, is this cherry mead that I made back in February. You know, so it's like 9 months. So it's like right entering its peak, but like you could let it go another 9 months and it might be even better.
Well, it didn't
I
last.
can't wait that long, because I like that. Like it tastes good to me now, so I'm just like drinking it, you know.
Yeah. No, we opened it at Beatrix's house for Thanksgiving, and I don't know if it lasted an hour. And it got drank. And I don't drink that much, so that lets you know what it is. But Anya would like to know, what is your favorite beer brewing technique?
I like to do this brew in a bag method. I think you were there. Yeah. So it's like for home brewing, you can do like all grain, or brewing with like they're called malt. So it's like someone took the sugars from the grain and kind of made it into either a powdered form or a liquid form, and you use that as your base, and then you add hops and whatnot. But my favorite method is to just use all those grains in a big bag, and then put it all in like a 5-gallon container, and you like let it seep like a big bag of tea, and then you go on and like brew after that, add like hops and stuff. But it's a lot of fun, and it's like pretty simple, like simplified version for all grain brewing, which is a little bit more. You can get really complex with that. Different contraptions to like get the grain water out and like get all that stuff working. So it's just a simple way, and I think it's kind of fun, just like a big old bag of tea.
Yeah, so we had a brewing party, and we did the bag at your house, and then after it was like we drank during the process, because that's what you have to, right? Like you can't not drink during the process. But after it was all said and done, like there was a tradition out of it where you handed us a spoon and you're
You
like,
tried that. Yeah.
we tried the wheats and stuff, and it was a real great bonding experience. It was super awesome.
Yeah. So like I should do something with that. I usually just toss in a compost heap, but I know you can make breads and things from that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll try my baking, my hand at baking. I don't know.
Maybe you're a master baker.
Maybe.
Maybe. Maybe. All right. So another bear pun question. So of course it stayed on KOK. What would you consider to be a bare necessity of Amp Guard that new players should focus on?
I would say getting in garb, maybe. It's like,
Mhm.
you know, when you're in garb, when everyone's in garb at the park, it just the aesthetics are much better. And you can, if you dress medieval, or if you want to be a barbarian or a wizard, or any of the other classes that we have, like you can really start there and like with a cool piece of garb.
Yeah.
The look the part bonus, right? Like
Yeah.
if you can pull you out of the crowd, like what are you, like a druid? Like, oh yeah, I got that one in like 2 tries.
Mhm.
Like you're definitely playing your class and looking the part. So I think that's a bare necessity for sure.
Cool. Yeah, I would agree. We were talking to Valimar, Radiant Valimar from Iron Mountains last week, and there's conversation about people escalating to the point of knighthood that aren't wearing garb to park, and that just blows my mind. Like,
Mhm.
what do you mean you're not wearing garb? Like that's like day one stuff. Like, well, not day one.
Right.
It's like week 2, week 3 thing where like if you don't have garb, someone throws garb at you and you put it on. Like, but
I mean, that's how I got my first piece of garb was
mhm.
like it's the first month I started playing like Maze was the following month, I think. And so I showed up to Maze like the coronation without any garb because I just didn't have any.
Sure.
And God, Letitia, does that ring a bell? Name ring a bell? I think her
Yeah,
name's
yeah,
Nat.
yeah.
Yeah. She was like, "Oh, hey, you're Dan, the new guy, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Here's a piece of garb that I made you," and I was like, "Oh, sweet! I got some garb now. Like,
Yeah.
I like fit in with the group." So like, I'm not a garber, so that's difficult to make garb. But if people can get other people that, or like even just like, I'd say if you save up for something, buy some garb first, because then you can always make a sword and stuff after the fact. It's like
Mhm.
not that difficult to get those materials, but like a good piece of garb that really makes you stand out on the field is the way to go.
Yeah. That brown tunic that I've had since it was the first tunic I got from Damien Abeli. I still have it. I still wear it. It's not, we're going on 4 years of playing the game here, and it's still kicking. So it's not like those things are going to go away. You know. So yeah, garb, get garb. That's a great idea. Stillhead would like to know if you could tell us about your heraldry.
It's like it's a grain.
Yeah.
Yeah, go with the brewing. Like I like brewing beers, so there's grain involved. I also like gardening a lot. And like growing things, trying to grow vegetables and herbs and whatnot and get that going. So I like tied those in with that element. And also I think I have one here. Like I'm trying to use it as a maker's mark for my pottery.
Okay.
So like I know you know this, but maybe other people don't. So I'm an archaeologist, right? And so like one of the things that we find a lot out in the field are historic bottles.
Yeah.
And like there's a period in time where there's a lot of different glass manufacturers making all kinds of bottles like regionally. They all have maker's marks on the bottom. So I was really inspired to make like a heraldry that I could use as a maker's mark for things, like any crafts. Like I didn't want it to be like, so I wanted to keep it simple enough that I could put it on stuff, but not be like overwhelming, whatever piece. So like this is a pot that I've made a while back. And like, I don't know if you can see that. It's just like
Yeah.
an early version of that, right? So it's like a
Nice.
simple signature. And I kind of got that from Azrael Jade when I entered a pot like a while back in a Dragon Master or something. I just had my initials on it, like DM18. And she was like, if you made like a mark or something special, like you could distinguish your stuff a little bit more than DM. So
Yeah.
like it's kind of where I picked up with that, and that's where it all kind of evolved. And now I'm getting to the point where like so that imagery that I made it in Adobe Illustrator. I gave that to a friend who has a 3D printer, and she's made some like little stamps so you can roll into the clay and get that image, which is much easier than trying to scratch it on the back of a pot.
Sure.
So like I've tried it for a few things, but haven't fired them yet. So we'll see how that turns out.
That's awesome. You're gonna have to let me know how that goes, because that's a great little thing that you can add to the persona, and then also like not taking people out of the illusion of the medieval fantasy, right? Because they
Mhm.
look at the pottery and they're like, oh, DM 18. Oh, that's present day stuff. But if they, you got your creator's mark on it, and it's like, oh, look at this. This is keeping the theme alive. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I'd ultimately like to, try and, you said I show up with at feast events with my little bowl and wooden spoon. I'd like to like get more people bowls or plates, because we show up in our garb, right?
Mhm.
And like we're there to celebrate the end of a reign or the beginning of a reign or the middle of a reign. We're all there to celebrate, and we like eat on these styrofoam or plastic plates, and they would toss them. Like, wouldn't it be
Yeah.
cool if everyone had their own pots and bowls and plates and cups?
Hey
It's
man,
like another way to like, it's a way to increase the persona even more, right? The,
it, Friar Carlos, you get 5 to 10 plates and 5 to 10 bowls, and then you put them up at gate, and you go the first 5 people in. When they pay for the gate, give them a bowl.
there you
You
go.
do.
I mean, they'll look kind of basic, but like,
Who cares?
yeah,
Come on, it's the feeling. And also like at some point, with enough people doing that enough times, everyone at some point could have a bowl or a plate or both.
yeah, that'd be
And
kind of cool, right?
yeah, that would be super cool. That would be super cool. Don't give up on that. Don't give up on that at all. Um, we talked about Cato already. Man has many interests. Unfortunately, he still has this interest. Friar Carlos, should back shield be in version 9?
Um, yeah, I guess with some stipulations, I'd say.
Okay.
Like maybe the shield can be like it can't be hardened or something where you can break it. So it's not just like unlimited back armor or something,
Mhm.
or if you like choose to take it off, it becomes fragile, or there's some aspect of it where it's not just like this permanent armor on your back that you can just take as many hits as you want and then you know within reason. I don't know how you work that out. I'm not the rules guy. I just hit people with swords.
Yeah, fair enough.
But
Fair enough.
why not try it?
Yeah. And Cato, this is the first time in KOK history, 88 episodes as of today, that there's been back-to-back weeks where people have said, yes, why not? So I guess the question stays on again, but we will continue moving forward. Cato also would like to know, to flurb or not to flurb.
Me dressing up as a monk is like the flurbiest I get. Um, I'm not really into making voices or like I'm not much of an actor. Like if I have to do like a role play an NPC, I'm just really bad at it.
Okay.
This is what I've just noticed. Like my RP is just not that great. So like I'll just stick with the garb persona as like my extent of the flurbiness.
Okay. Well, so there are some of us who spend a lot more time with their RP. Freya, the current Kingdom Regent, made a great post today where we're giving our backstories a little bit, right? And that I don't know if you remember, but Kodiak is also doing journals about what's
Oh
going on
yeah.
in his life and like the Garnara possessing him and stuff like that. And it's people like you who don't have the RP that I instantly want to be like, well, guess what? Now you're in my story. And you don't have to do the RP. I'm just gonna write
Will
you
do.
in.
See, I'm fine with that. Like we have a RP tavern at Obsidian Gate
Mhm.
that it's fairly new. And like whenever they ask me to be an NPC, the best ones is when I can just be a passive NPC and just kind of like, hang out and do my Friar Carlos things without really having to
I love it.
try.
Yeah. Again, if there's ever more reasons to go to Obsidian Gate, RP Tavern is definitely on top of the list. I mean, obviously, the people that I need to see because I miss my people, but also now there's an RP Tavern. I mean, it's getting so desperate for RP. Deverick and I are going to plan a trip to go to an Alliance event so that I can go super flurb.
So what's that mean? Like it's like
Uh,
oh,
So Alliance doesn't even allow for real bows. You have a bow in your hand, but you have to throw beanbags.
oh,
You have to call damage on your shots. So you can't throw like 5 or 6 in a row because you have to call the damage on all of them. So it's like
interesting.
2 normal, 2 poison, 2 whatever. So you got to take your time on them. And it's just built in to be more RP based and less combat. And I don't know if you knew this about me, but I joined Amtgard for the RP and didn't realize until after I started that it's a combat sport. Um, yeah. But anyways, not about me. Not about me. We'll move on. Zana would like to know, are there any rain themes that you would like to see?
That's a good question. I don't know. I always like fantasy based things since we're kind of like a fantasy LARP. Like Lord of the Rings would be really cool. That's one of my favorite series of books. Something like that. A few years ago, we did Game of Thrones. That was a lot of fun. I wouldn't
Yeah, I
mind doing
missed.
another. Um, I think a gladiator theme could be kind of cool.
Cool. Cool. Cool. Cool. Cool.
Uh, yeah, I don't know. Those are 3 that I can think of off the top of my head. Something like that.
So I'm gonna plug a TV show now. Have you seen Wheel of Time yet?
No.
Amazon Prime Wheel of Time it's 4 episodes in now, and I can absolutely see a Wheel of Time rain coming. Oh, so good. If you read the books or whatever, that I'm sure it's great too. But the series so far has got me hooked. I'm in all the way. Again, not about me. I'm sorry, Fry Carlos. I'm going to keep pushing forward. Morgan would like to know, what's your favorite Amtgard event?
um, Gathering of the Crowns, right?
Mhm.
That's what it's called now. That was a lot of fun. Maze is also a lot of fun.
Mhm.
Actually, one of the events that I like, it's not a big event, but something we did a few years ago. We had a tri-park day.
Mhm.
Where like people from Cloud's Edge came down, and like people from Burning Lands came down, and Dragon Spine Las Cruces, and we all met at the City of Rocks.
Mm.
And it was an awesome little 1-day event, and that was like a really cool thing. I wish we had more of those kind of convergence day type things.
Sure. Yeah, that sounds the City of Rocks event and the Game of Thrones reign are 2 things that I always hear about that I didn't get to experience firsthand. And it's
Oh, you
just
weren't there. Was that
no,
like before you started?
yeah, just before I started.
Oh man. Well, then we got to do that one again. Like, because
Right.
it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're gonna have to pull some people out of retirement though, I think. Get it running up and running again. All right. So we talked about your favorite. Kenjin would like to know, what does your perfect Amtgard event look like?
Good fights, hanging out afterwards, camping, I think would be part of my perfect Amtgard, because like then we don't have to go home. People can just
Yeah.
keep hanging out as long or as early as they, want. People can drink some meat or beer and just kind of cut loose. And then when they had enough, they can go to bed. And then they can get up and do it all over again or go home. It's like lots of options, but that's probably like my perfect amp card event, something like that.
Okay, cool. Zancha would like to know, what would you want to accomplish in the next few years of your amp guard career?
This reign, I will try to participate in the challenges. That's my goal. I always see them, like this week, the challenge, and like usually by the time I tune in, it's like week 13. And I'm like, well, shit. Like it's too late for me. I'm just gonna next time. This time I'm gonna try and do it.
Okay. Well,
That's one thing.
This one is just started. This is the first week of the Regions challenges. It's your alignment and a backstory.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that means I have to get on that then.
Yeah. I mean, I already turned mine in. I'm super proud of it. I've had it written for a while. So when I saw the post go up, I'm like, oh, copy, paste, bam, here we go. Because Flurb, wanna have that stuff.
So we're talking like D&D alignment, like neutral good and like lawful good and all that.
So Gideon Stormcaller had a very interesting take in the sense that he's like, I don't fall into one of those alignments per se, which is true of all people. We understand that. But we have built these personas that don't have to be representations of us exactly. Like I think Kodiak is chaotic good. I would do whatever I had to do to get what I believe is right, even if that meant breaking society's rules. That seems like a reasonable position to hold. But the person who is running Kodiak tries not to break society's rules, but Kodiak would be willing to. You got to be able to make that distinction. That's the part of the role play.
All right. Well, I guess I'll have to work on a backstory then.
For sure. I can't wait to see it. I love backstories. I just love backstories. Anyways, Sir Smiley would like to know, what's the greatest lesson that you've learned now that you wish you had learned then?
Just being patient. Everything takes time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember when I first started, we like at Dragonspine, we played winners losers to warm up, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And like I got killed all the time. I was like a perennial loser. It's like, man, this it can be kind of frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, Dragonspine had some awesome fighters and still does. Like when Sane and Xander are running around and like a couple other warlords and whatnot, all the people that can be there at any given time. It's like, oh yeah, this is kind of difficult if you're just brand new. So now I've gotten to the point where like I wouldn't say I'm a good fighter per se, but like I can hold my own most of the time and like win maybe 30% or 40% of some of those fights where it's like, oh, this is a lot more fun when you're not just like dying all the time. And that just takes time, so it's just like a patience thing, like just, because you could easily get frustrated and just be like, screw this game. Like I just get killed all the time. This is just not a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like I'm out of here.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. And I think like I came in was like, oh, I've played sports. I was in the military. These nerds have nothing on me. And then I got slaughtered all the time. And like, you were one of the people slaughtering me. And it's like, yeah, I really, really just care about my persona. And, now it's like, I really care about my persona, but I've learned some things about fighting. And also I can just wait until the battle game and just freeze everybody because that still works. That's still a way of,
right.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we're talking about fighting. Let's talk about the groups that have fighting. What fighting companies and households are you in?
None.
None that are documented.
Oh yeah. There's that what? Can you see me wink? Okay. The one that we're not supposed to talk about.
Yeah, that one. We need Speaking of which, medallions. My medallion broke.
Oh, I broke mine a long time ago.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
But I'll work on it.
Okay.
I think I have a new method. I can make better medallions this time.
Sweet. I like hearing that. I like hearing that. We're not going to talk about what it is. It's the
I will say, Kodiak, the other two recipients of those medallions are both knights now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like,
I mean,
not to say that you're like going that way, but you might be going that way.
Oh man, don't tell the kingdom that. Thank you. But you also have the medallion, so
I broke mine. I'm like the Lord of the Rings. I'm like Sauron. I'll just rule you all at some point in the much distant future when everyone forgets about all this stuff. Like I'll emerge and be like,
oh, you'll rise again. Okay.
And like, remember those medallions? Now you're my slaves. Like you're my minions.
Oh. All right. Well, I mean, I'm in either way. Like
it'll be a good time.
Yeah. Yeah. You're gonna bring the beer, right? Because I'm in.
Of course.
Okay.
That's all we're gonna do.
All right. Shroudstar would like to know if you could create a ladder award that doesn't already exist, what would you create and what would you call it?
I think I would create an award for either cooking or brewing or making consumable goods like salves or potions or something along that line,
Okay.
It's like, it seems like we have the dragon category, right? Kind of encompasses that, but it seems like to me, the dragon category is like the junk drawer of arts and sciences, where it's like, okay, here's like cooking and art and like poetry and brewing and reading, and like let's just throw it all in that drawer because like we need a category for all this stuff. And so I think breaking it out a little bit might be kind of nice. Maybe we call it alchemy. That sounds kind of cool. Who would want to be like a master alchemist?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's what we've gotten out of 88 episodes of Kingdom and Kodiak is that those people who have an award typically want to see the dragon separated. It encompasses too many different things. And again, talking to Valimar last week, that getting to a point where there's so many different ways to become a master and so many different ways to become a knight that you just strip the idea of being an individual knight and just have knights and all of these different kind of masters. And you become like a maester of brewing. And given your attitude and whatnot, become a knight of Amtgard, and it's an interesting concept. And I think just where it's going to end up going, we just added a fifth line with the battle knight. And again, maybe it's just because we're doing this kind of communication, but it seems like dragon, that the next thing people want to see is a break from dragon, So interesting. I like it. Also, Master Alchemist is fantastic. I am also a little salty that Artificer has already been used as a title, because Master Artificer would be something I would.
That's another good one.
Yeah, I really want. Artificer is my favorite D&D class, and I never get to play it. So, just to have it in Amtgard and be like, well, I'm an artificer. That's what I do. Haha. Anyways, it's not about me. So the next question is, if you could change one rule in Amtgard right now, what would you change?
I would change the dead knee, like your dead leg, like when you go, like say when you get legged, right, and you go like down, and like your dead leg can take like as many hits as you want, right? I would change that. Okay. Just like you can still take a hit there, because I just don't enjoy it.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, it almost makes posting the optimal way to play, right? Because you're going to die from a leg shot either way.
And like you just leave your leg exposed and you don't have to worry about it. So you can pretty much just cover up your entire back and just like it kind of prolongs the combat sometimes.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Okay. So what would you like to see Amcard accomplish or change in the next few years? This is Amcard as a whole.
Just keep trying to be more inclusive, I think. Trying to just get different people from different backgrounds involved in the game. I mean, it seems like that's the one area that we could always improve upon, I think, just to be more diverse, inclusive.
Sure. Absolutely. Totally agree. Still, I would like to know if you could give us 5 up and comers, people that deserve shout outs.
This will probably be a lot of Obsidian Gate and Arizona heavy. So with that caveat in mind. And what qualifies as an up and comer?
I don't know. What do you want to call an up and comer?
We'll just say like people that I admire. Is that reasonable?
Sure.
Okay. We have a couple at Obsidian Gate, Preston and his wife Thistlewood, or Thistle. Is it Thistlewood or Thistle? I call her Thistle. Sorry, Thistle. Messing up your name. But like they run this role play tavern, and it's a dynamic that is really different for our park, and they put a lot of effort into it, day in and day out, making spell balls, making things that people can try and buy as like rewards, and setting up quests, and like then giving people food and drink as part of their rewards requests. And it's just a lot of effort that they're doing a great job with it, and it's just really cool to see them do it.
Yeah.
So okay. Shout out to them. Probably shout out to Anya, also at Obsidian Gate. She's just like a good-hearted person, and always willing to be there and help out and do the dirty work of Amcard when it's needed, and really just a joy to be around. Let's see who else. Man, I think about this a little bit more. Oh, like I've never met her in person, but I really admire Spooky Stormcaller. She's the last regent, and I think putting together all that online ANS stuff was really cool, just as like a way to participate, either as just people who couldn't make it or be a judge. It's just like a lot of ways to be involved still. And she really set up a good system to make that all work. So I can really admire her for doing all that work. There's probably other people that I'm missing. Oh, I admire you for like doing this. This is pretty cool.
Well, thank you.
Definitely seen a lot of like people that I didn't know about. I listen to your program like while I'm at work or something, and just put it on. Like,
cool.
I don't know whoever you're interviewing. I might not know them, but like you might learn something kind of interesting. So let's keep that up. Keep up the good work, Kodiak. She's not really an up and comer, but I really admire Dame Annabelle Lee. She's just like a grinder.
Yeah. She's the grinder. Yeah, she doesn't stop.
Yeah. I'm sure I could probably go on about other people that I admire, but like I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. Well, you did get 6, so.
Oh, I got 6. Okay, yeah. Good. We made it.
We did it. All right. Last question before we get to the most difficult of questions on KOK. We call them the funny questions. What's your thoughts on Battle Knight?
Pessimistically optimistic.
Go on.
So like, I understand that a lot of people wanted that title and a path to knighthood, to recognize that you don't have to be a great fighter in battle games to be successful. And I think that's a worthy goal that we should pursue. I'm also a little pessimistic because just it adds another competitive nature to Amtgard.
Mm-hmm.
Like the seeds of discontent are always present in our game.
Mm-hmm.
And so I worry that like the Battle Knight position is just one more avenue for those seeds to be sown. For example, say we're like at the same park, we're playing and like, I feel like I'm a worthy of a Battle Knight and not getting that recognition, but then say you do. And it's like, well, when I play Kodiak, I beat him all the time. Like why is he getting it? So I kind of worry about that aspect of it.
Sure.
Like, and I will say that it's my hope that like whoever our first Battle Knight is in the kingdom is someone like Puggy.
If Puggy was still playing, yeah.
Because like, not to pick on him, but he's just the most recent knight, so I'm going to pick on him. But like, okay, Xander is a great fighter. He's a sword knight.
Yeah.
Like I've seen him play monk and assassin and kill people like the same way because he's just a really good fighter.
Yeah.
And so like, I think it would be, and Puggy, for those who don't know him, is like maybe not the best fighter, but he's like awesome at battle games. Like as a wizard or whatever class he's playing, he seems to know like what to do, and he puts all those pieces together really easily and just like can dominate.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd rather see a Puggy become a Battle Knight as opposed to Xander first. Not saying that that Xander's not worthy of it. Sorry, Xander. I'm just not picking on you, but I'm picking on you. He can take it. He's a sword. So yeah, like I'd like to see that kind of stuff. So I'm just gonna wait it out and see what happens with that. Like hopefully it balances it out a little bit more where people can get recognized for being good battle game players and not be, and hopefully it's not something that people are bitter about.
But I think you're making a really excellent point there for people observing who Battle Knights are going to be, is looking at people who are high combat and go, is this tactically the best thing that's going on? Or are you just so good at fighting that it makes it look good? Because our tactically sound players may not be the frontline sword fighters, right? We have archers and crossbow users and wizards and healers that are way more tactically sound than our frontline fighters, that eventually we're going to have to go, you know what? That's what a Battle Knight is. This is a sword knight who can make a game swing. And in time, maybe that's also a Battle Knight. But currently, this person who is controlling the field and making sure that people are making the right decisions and getting objectives and changing the way the game is played is a Battle Knight. And making that distinction is going to be really important for the first couple of years of it. So very, very good. Very good. Puggy's a great example too. Kriv from Pegasus Valley, Sir Alucard from Pegasus Valley are both really good examples of that. I'm trying to think. I would say Redbeard in Dragon Spineless Crucis is a really good example of a Battle Knight. Knowing the system, being a back support, also willing to be tactical and point out tactics. They're all over, but I think we'll see some really great ones off the bat, and then those will give us the mold to form those decisions moving forward. I think we're going to be in good shape, is what I'm getting at.
It's good to hear.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the most difficult of questions, Friar Carlos. Stillhat would like to know, what's the coolest dog you've ever met?
My brother's got this dog. His name is Peanut. It's kind of like a scruffy dog that was like, I think they think he was a former homeless person's dog that they just like, he wandered into their yard and just kind of never left, so they adopted him.
Okay.
But he's like a scrappy little dog, man. He just like is just silly.
Okay.
Not a very good description. I don't know what kind of breed he is. He just like Yay big and gray.
And silly.
Yeah.
Whatever that is. Name that
Yeah.
breed. All right. What's your favorite kind of dinosaur?
Triceratops.
Going with the classics. Okay. What's the best kind of dragon?
Dead dragon.
Dead.
Not a fan of dragons, man. Not a fan. Sorry, I'm not a fan of
Ooh.
dragons. Like I
Okay.
thought that like the dragon spine was like our celebration of slaying the dragon, and like we got him. And I found out that was not the
No.
case. So like, oh, like I was really kind of bummed about that. There's like much better mythical creatures than dragons, like griffins. Griffins are really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Sphinx.
Sphinx, like
Yeah.
hippogriffs, and like
Yeah.
Medusa, whatever she is. Like that's kind of a cool
Yeah. Yeah.
evil creature, but like there's lots of mythical creatures. We put this
Sure.
dragon up here, like
Wow. Okay. Agree to disagree on dragons being alive or dead, but I can agree that there are better mythical creatures for sure. Friar Carlos, who's your favorite fictional knight?
the Onion Knight, right? From Game of
Yes.
Thrones.
Yes. That's cool. Okay. Sacri, you remember Sacri, right? He would like to know what's the best fictional or non-fictional sword name?
And Gruvidal.
Ooh, okay.
Have you
All
heard of that
right.
one?
I have not. Go on.
And Gruvidal is a black steel ancestor blade wielded by Ashik Vidal. You should read, it's a series that's out, a fantasy series, current one. It's called Son of the Black Sword. And there's a few others after that.
Okay.
But look it up. It's like, I think that would actually be a good rain theme too, because it deals with like magic and like these protectors that are kind of like knights. Like there's different classes within this world, and like there's demons and magic, and it could be kind of interesting. So read it. I encourage you to read it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. I've got a list, but I'll get there. Um, do you play Magic the Gathering?
I do.
What's your colors?
Okay, so I play, but only when I go back home to Denver, because I don't own any cards.
Okay.
So like I'll play with my brother, because we used to play back in the day, and he just like held on to all the cards.
Mhm.
So now we play this format. Commander, I think.
Yep, Commander. Yeah.
That's not right.
Yep.
So I have a Commander sliver deck that I like. So I guess it's like 5 colors. I guess I like all the colors.
Okay.
It's a 5-color deck.
Of
So
course
that's the one
you
I
do.
play with the most, because I play like maybe twice a year if I'm lucky. And I just do it at home. It's just like,
Fair enough. Fair enough. Of course you like all the colors, but Friar Carlos, what is your favorite color?
so I really like white when I was younger. That's what I played with most often. So I
Okay.
guess white. So
Okay.
I'll just go with white. This is like circa 2000, go with white.
Okay. Fair enough. This is a personal question, Friar Carlos. Is Kodiak more of a Jedi or a Sith?
I think you are a Sith. So like, I know everyone thinks that like you're a good guy,
Mhm. Mhm.
but I can see the darkness in you. Like,
Oh,
I see it in your eyes. It's just under the surface.
dang.
And so I think this is like an elaborate facade to like, convince everyone that you're a good guy, but really like you're like pulling the strings, like setting people up, we're all these little puppets. And then like one day you're just gonna, all of us little puppets will be in place, and you'll just like, bam, take over.
I don't know if I'm talking to Friar Carlos right now or Dan, because I'm scared. Okay. Ooh, thanks. Okay. Amp is making a live action movie. Who is playing Friar Carlos?
Lou Diamond Phillips.
Oh, okay. And when Lou Diamond comes out on the screen, what song is playing?
Oh man, I don't know. I guess it would have to depend on the context, right? Like, is it like a sad moment?
It's the first time he's coming on the screen. It's the uh, first appearance song.
I don't know, Touch of Grey.
Okay. Okay. All right. Different universe. Everyone in the world has superpowers. What's your superpowers?
I would like to be able to clone myself, like split myself, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like
So
a
like,
multiple man kind of thing, or
yeah. So like maybe I like can split myself for 8 hours a day. So like that guy can go to work and I can just do whatever I want. But then like at the end of the day, we kind of merge and like I kind of like absorb all the things that that guy did, my clone. So then like my boss calls me after hours and he's like, hey, what do you think of this? I'd be like, able to answer.
okay. All right. That's all right. I just want to be able to chill, is what he's saying. All
I
right.
just want to be able to chill to like have someone go do some work for me, you know?
Fantastic. Still, I would like to know what's your favorite conspiracy and what's your favorite Amp conspiracy?
My favorite conspiracy is that aliens made pyramids and like all these other ancient things
Mhm.
and like totally discounting how smart we are as human beings that we couldn't possibly make that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It makes me laugh and also makes me really angry at the same time.
Sure.
I don't know if that's really a favorite, but it's just like one that makes me chuckle.
Okay. Do you have a
I
favorite?
don't I don't even know any Amgard conspiracies. Maybe you could like tell me a few and then I can just pick my favorite one.
Well, I mean, you were laying one out where Kodiak is actually pulling all the strings to all
Oh,
these
oh,
people,
oh.
but
Yeah, that's the conspiracy that I've heard is like Kodiak is really just a Sith and he's like really pulling the strings behind the scenes. And like one day we're going to be under his power.
oh, oof.
I'll take
Okay.
credit for that one. Thanks,
Yeah,
Kodiak. Thanks for
yeah,
helping
you're
me.
welcome. Not a problem. Lightning would like to know, would you rather adopt 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck?
100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck.
Yep.
I think I would do the 100
Duck-sized
horses.
horses. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
like you could be like a breeder of duck-sized horses. Think about it, man. Like think about every little girl wants a pony when
Yeah.
they're growing up. I assume they do. I never had any sisters, so I just assumed that like that's what they want. So like through Friar Carlos's duck-sized pony service rodeo, I could provide those little girls with their duck-sized ponies
Oh, this became a
at,
rodeo
frac-
all of a
at,
sudden.
at a fraction of the cost of a true pony.
Okay. I'm seeing all the finances behind it. It makes sense. Well, still wants to flip it a little bit on its head here. Would you rather fight a duck-sized horse or a horse-sized duck?
A duck-sized horse. I think a horse-sized duck would be terrifying, man.
Yes. Friar Carlos, are birds real?
Oh yeah, they're real.
Okay.
What kind of question is that?
It's a question that's been on KOK for a very long time. The birds have been questioned to be working for the bourgeoisie and also are just drones. So, we got to ask, we got to figure it out. Freya would like to know, is there a drink better than Mountain Dew?
Coffee?
Coffee? Okay. All right. You'll have to settle a household dispute here. What is better of the Mountain Dew products, Code Red or Baja Blast?
I had a Baja Blast a few weeks ago on the way to Maze Maze, actually.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say Baja Blast because I haven't had Code Red since I was in middle school.
This is why I become a Sith, is because no
Yeah.
one roots for the right drink. Code Red is superior in every way, but that's fine. That's fine. Whatever. Sir Nikolai, you might know him. Would like to know, what's your favorite drink?
Coffee.
Okay. When's the last time you drank water?
I don't know, not too long ago. This is a maple beer that I'm trying out.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's
Well,
kind of a different.
it,
A work in
little,
progress, this one. Yeah.
little different. Okay. I have some either ors for you. Just give me the either of the or. Apple juice or orange juice?
Apple juice.
Hot dog. Is it a taco or a sandwich?
A sandwich.
Okay. Ice cream or custard?
Custard.
Waffle or pancake?
Pancake.
How much is too much to spend on breakfast?
Per person, $50.
Okay. Favorite thing to add to a bowl of yogurt?
Nuts.
Is oatmeal a soup?
A very bland soup.
Does Tajima deserve Sonic?
Everyone deserves Sonic.
Last 4 questions, Friar Carlos. What is the square root of a bowl of oatmeal?
A heart healthy breakfast.
Okay. Can you, with as much detail as possible, explain what the color of the letter F smells like?
Color of the letter F. Smells like Teen Spirit.
Teen Spirit. Okay. Little Nirvana reference. All right. Morgan would like to know, if you could meet anyone in history, who would it be and why? Is it Freddie Mercury?
I wouldn't meet Freddie Mercury. I don't think I'd waste my time on a bard. Back to prehistory.
Look at that.
I don't know. I've been reading like this book by Bruce Lee's daughter about Bruce Lee. So I think right now I'd want to go meet him, because it's just like he sounds like an interesting dude to like just not to fight, but like he's like a philosophizer, right?
Yeah, be water.
Yeah. So like just like hang out with him for a little bit. Like that'd be kind of cool.
Hell yeah. No, I agree with that. Last question. Let me get my breath. If it takes a chicken and a half, a day and a half to lay an egg and a half, how long would it take a grasshopper with a wooden leg to kick the seed out of a dill pickle?
30 seconds.
30 seconds. Friar Carlos, thank you so much for coming on tonight. If you could just bear with me through some announcements, we'll say our goodbyes. Dragon Spine, our Regent, and Stillhat were able to get together and get our merch store off the ground. You should go to that merch store and start buying it. It's going to be one of the ways that Dragon Spine funds our coffers at the kingdom level, specifically so that we can pay AIBOD, so that we have a vote and a voice at the COM. For those of you who were unaware of that, the COM did make that a standard, that if you do not pay to AIBOD, you will not get a voice at the COM meeting. That got approved. So this is why it's important for us. So make sure you're going to the merch store looking for items. If you want a specialty item, you could talk to Freya or Stillhat. They should be able to find a way for that to work out. There's Kingdom of Kodiak merch on there. Speaking of Kingdom of Kodiak, all of my episodes are on YouTube. Yang has done a wonderful job of putting intros and outros on every episode. I think we're only like 3 or 4 behind live. So episode 85 should be posted, I think. But Yang has been doing a wonderful job of getting it up there and making sure that they're available for everyone to watch. The Regents challenges just started today. Write your backstory for your character and pick an alignment for your character. If you look at the Kingdom page, there's a bunch of wonderful backstories already put up, and gives you an idea of where the people that you hang out with on a regular basis are trying to take their character. So maybe you can help them by role playing an adversary for them. Let's see, what else is there on the menu? I think that's everything for right now. Bids for, It's not. I'm part of the coffer committee, and I didn't even mention it. Coffer committee has put out a survey. It's the second survey to clarify some of the questions that have already been asked, that we either had a majority, or I'm sorry, super majority, or whatever the next step is, of people that voted for those specific items. We're trying to get people to pick one of those items so that we can continue to move on, maybe get to a point where we have a Kapora amendment. Our king is hoping to try to get something together before our COM meeting, because at the COM meeting next month, I believe the COM is going to be discussing what the cost to AIBOD will be. So please make sure that you're committing to the survey. It is offering a credit for anyone who does it. Bids for mid-range should be going out here shortly. I don't know that I haven't talked to the king specifically about it, but that will be happening at some point. So if your park wants to host mid-range, make sure you have a bid in. Friar Carlos, I think that's it. Do you got anything for us?
You got it covered. Come to Obsidian Gate.
Come to Obsidian Gate. Do the RP Tavern. Swing back to Friar Carlos. Drink mead. Well, Friar Carlos, again, thank you so much for coming on. Well, actually, no, let me point out a shout out to anyone who didn't know this. Before I could get Friar Carlos to come on this show, I reached out and he's like, I will, if you ask blank, 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 blank from Obsidian Gate, because they deserve the spotlight. And that is a true bro right there. Friar Carlos is an amazing person for setting the standard of no, there's other voices that need to be heard before me. And we did it.
Did it.
Friar Carlos, thank you so much for coming on tonight. I appreciate you. I hope to see you soon. I don't know when soon is, but hopefully soon. Christmas is coming, so after the holidays probably. But you stay enjoying life, and we'll see you soon. Stay safe in that hotel.
Thanks, man.
Let me get that announcement out of the way too. I will have one more episode next week. Then there will be a 2-week hiatus. Hopefully that the week coming back from that, there will be a nightly chat, and we'll be back on normal schedule. So if there's more people that you're interested in having on the show, let me know now so I can get them scheduled for a few weeks out. But there will be a 2-week gap where KOK won't be on, because I will either be out of the country or out of the state, depending on if Belize decides to lift its travel restrictions, because we just found out yesterday that they have huge travel restrictions right now. So until next week, this has been Kingdom of Kodiak, and I'm Kodiak. Goodbye.